The sectors of health and education have always been identified amongst key agendas for PNG governments under various leadership since independence in 1975. Frontline health workers in the country have been caught in a dilemma over the past month as AstraZeneca vaccines arrived from Australia and India, and the PNG government and relevant authorities commenced the vaccination rollout. Their safety has been a great concern as they deal with COVID-19 patients firsthand on a daily basis amidst the spike in the number of cases as well as deaths relating to COVID-19 in the country. Whilst concerns over personal protective equipment and other necessities for the frontline health workers have been raised since the global pandemic reached PNG, the frontliners have also raised issues of safety surrounding the AstraZeneca vaccine, given that they will be among the first group of the country's population to receive the vaccine. But after some panel discussions and awareness on the vaccine, the vaccination rollout for frontline health workers has commenced and is in progress. At Port Moresby General Hospital, the largest referral hospital in the country, over 150 staff of the hospital tested positive for COVID-19 over the past month, affecting operations at the hospital. However, the situation is gradually recovering.
We had over 150 of our staff that went down with COVID, mostly in the emergency department. So here you can see a scenario where more loads are coming in, but the staff numbers are reducing. So the staff has been stressed to the limit. Thankfully, none of them are in the severe category that many of them have returned to work after 2 weeks of isolation, 10 days or so. And staff shortage is a concern to us.
And vaccination of frontline health workers at the hospital has also been a challenge.
Number of nurses getting vaccinated at Port Moresby General is much less than what we anticipated. So for that reason, we had a meeting today with the Nation Union and with the Governor of NCD, and the Health Secretary were here to address our nurses. And then we also invited Professor Vince from the university to give some scientific background of to put to rest all this misinformation that are going on in the social media, which is confusing our staff to be vaccinated. So the Nation Union have pointed out their concerns to the Health Secretary and of course to the Governor as well. And then many of the doubts that they had was cleared. So hopefully in the next few days our nursing workforce will get vaccinated.
Despite mixed public reaction to the AstraZeneca vaccine, Port Moresby General Hospital CEO Dr. Paki Molumi says it is important for people to be vaccinated to reduce the risk of the transmission of COVID-19 at the earliest time possible. In the education sector, the school calendar has been disrupted a number of times since 2020 as a result of lockdowns and isolation strategies put in place by authorities. School holidays had to be brought forward, and school authorities with their teaching staff had to come up with special arrangements to ensure students didn't miss out on being taught whilst adhering to COVID-19 protocols. The latest suspension of classes has been for a month, with resumption expected tomorrow. However, earlier this week, the PNG Teachers Association, upon concluding its first National Management Committee meeting for the year at Gateway Hotel in Port Moresby, issued a 24-hour ultimatum to the National Department of Education, Teaching Service Commission, the national government and other relevant authorities to seriously consider the safety of teachers in their line of duties with regards to PNG's COVID-19 response.
Teaching Service Commission and the Education Secretary, have they prepared such things here? Or have they fund extra money to each school? Because there's a lot of money coming from COVID-19, foreign aid. Government is providing. What's happening to teachers and schools?
And we've given an ultimatum of 24 hours. If the minister doesn't want to come and talk to us, well, that's good. If the Secretary of the Department of Education doesn't want to talk to us, that's okay. The TSC doesn't want to come and negotiate with us, that's okay. But when the teachers stop work, that's the bottom line. That's where we are coming from.
The PNG-TA executives in issuing the demands said failure to respond or comply by relevant authorities would result in a nationwide teachers' strike.
The NMC calls upon the Teaching Service Commission, the Ministry of Education, the National Department of Education, and the government of Papua New Guinea give you all 24 hours ultimate to respond to above mentioned claims. 2. Failure to respond positively to all the above. PNG will seek industrial action through the Office of the Industrial Registrar to continue dialogue for a possibility of nationwide either sit-in strike or strike walk on the street.
After the ultimatum lapsed, the relevant authorities made their respective responses.
The Secretary and I have not received copies of any of those ultimatums. That's one. 2, to give an organization 24-hour ultimatum is practically impossible to fulfill and to see and to respond. So Aita Sanangape and Chanel Co and their team have to do the right thing. That's number one. Number 2, Aita Sanangape, the teachers must know, is a retired officer. He was retired by the Teaching Service Commission. Under the industrial law, he did not have a teaching position. He was not on the payroll, and as such, is not a member of Teaching Service Commission, and therefore him making those statements out there are misleading.
In these trying times when this world pandemic is around, people shouldn't give demands. We are trying our best to mitigate and make sure that we look after everybody. And for them to give demands like this is very time-consuming for the education department to go and work through the programs with them. I can't speak on behalf of the education minister, but I'm sure that he will take it up.
Or PNGTA, or teachers union, only like more teachers you know can go back. Me like talk ourselves. Yes, union got right long, welfare belong all teachers. Long talk kismeri belong all teacher, na come na talk want them teachers service commission or teaching service commission. Long state side, long government side, TSC but okay, I'm different right, different no got don't talk. Talk go na suppose talk go one bill. Now next action also see or go or some strike or no get strike or go back and this place will come up behind. So on Monday or teacher will go back to school.
My official response will come on Monday, but generally speaking, this is a pandemic and it's not a normal issue that we all are trying to address. So everyone, all institutions and everybody else are complied to Pandemic Act, and also the person in charge of this pandemic is the controller, which the government of Papua New Guinea has appointed. So basically, education department has got no right to move away from the controller's directions. So spare the decision, we will still resume classes on Monday until and when we find our way out of that.
EMTV News also visited a few schools in NCD during the week to get their views of resuming classes tomorrow as scheduled and adhering to COVID-19 protocols. We spoke to the principal of Badihagwa Technical Secondary School.
We're excited as a principal for children to come back to school, but we are mindful of their health. The way we look at the classroom areas, we are mindful of the overcrowding. It's beyond and over. So we have been given we had a principal's meeting on Thursday in Bomandila, and so every school is given the opportunity to work out how they can best interest of the school. So when we come on Monday, I will meet with my senior teachers to work out a strategy where we will receive grade 9s and 11s in other days, and grade 10s and 12s like last year. So the grade when the grade 10s and 12s come on Mondays, they use all grade 9 and 10 classrooms, and grade 12 they use all grade 11 and 12 classrooms. So that's a strategy we are looking at.
Mr. Bala says purchasing necessary equipment to adhere to COVID-19 protocols using school subsidy funds has been a challenge.
We don't have any even COVID-19 funding. And so we are blowing up the very little the money that we have received, TFF and the parents' component. But talking about millions of kina has been poured into in the country, but we are frontliners, schools are frontliners, but we are not receiving any, COVID-19 funding.
So schools will resume tomorrow as scheduled after a 4-week suspension, but under strict COVID-19 protocols. Despite threats of a nationwide strike by teachers, from the PNG-TA perspective, education authorities have urged all teachers to resume work commencing term 2 of the 2021 school calendar. As frontliners in the health and education sectors continue their work in spite of difficult times with the onset of COVID-19, their efforts remain key to PNG's fight against COVID-19 now and in ensuring a better future for Papua New Guinea.